Hello, I'm EnterElysium and welcome back to Aurora 4X, the incredibly in-depth, frustratingly amazing space strategy game. There's no other way to describe it. It really is very interesting. So, we're at 2080. We're 50 years into our very starting basic game. Things are going okay, except for the massive lack of fuel and potentially a future issue with minerals. So, things we need to look into. Now, the elections have happened. You remember that last electoral system, the cycle, the term. I believe the interactivity stuff ended up with the Lord Commissioners being voted in and the Alliance of Sexy Scientists ending as runner-up. They decided to go into a coalition. This time around, it completely flipped. The Alliance of Sexy Scientists became number one. The Lord Commissioners, runner-up, and they didn't enter into a coalition. So things are getting dramatic, and there's also a lot of RP stuff going on that has the potential to change the interactivity a lot. I've also been really enjoying the stuff going on. Like, we had even more votes in the election this time. If you want to get involved, there'll be a link down below. You can go follow it to the Discord or whatever and check out the interactivity there. I've got still new people wandering in. Everyone's being really, really cool, and it's really interesting seeing the stuff people come up with. Anyway, so this episode, I'm going to spend just tidying up a few things and trying to improve in areas on some stuff we've done before. So, first things first, a very, very obvious, massive mistake that is going to have massive repercussions. We have the Geo-Survey craft listed as a gravitational survey vessel, and that just will not do. Like, that is not on. Just, ugh. There we go. Fix that. Right. Problem solved. Actually, the main problem I came over here to fix is that if we go over to... Where am I looking? The Hardy. There we go. You'll notice that our missile fire... beam fire control, sorry, for our point defense has a max range of less than 10k. That's a cock up on my part. Your point defense fires when it's doing a normal point defense, not when it's Sea-Whiz. I believe Sea-Whiz might function differently, but I'm not certain. But your point defense fires at 10,000 kilometers. That's considered kind of the point blank, now intercept the missile, shooty, 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 shoot. I don't know why I need to describe it like that, but I did. Anyway, so by putting a fire control on that says, I'll shoot them when they get to 9,600, it effectively will go, missiles get to 10,000. I'm waiting for them to get into range. Missiles get closer than that. Oh, it's too late. So this is actually not going to do anything. We need to increase the range of our fire control. And honestly, increasing the range of your fire control to double doesn't give you a bit of an accuracy bonus. So I guess we double the size of the fire control. Now, I could do this with people coming into port and doing the upgrade, etc. But since it's just a 20-ton system, it's honestly going to be cheap as chips. So I'm actually just going to use Space Master to unlock the design, make some adjustments, and then move on. So if we have a look over here in our fleet, you'll see that we actually have a load of Hardy 1s. Oh, perfect. In which case, yeah, I don't need to upgrade them. They'll do the upgrading when I manually upgrade them to Hardy 2s. Yeah, so this is great. I actually just update the Hardy 2 design before I even implement it. It's not actually locked. I was like, oh, why is it not locked? So, easy done. We get rid of this beam fire control, and we're going to need to replace it. So, because this is kind of like a cock up on my part, I'm actually going to use the same last name for it. So I'm going to copy that across. Design tech. We'll put the tech over here. We want a beam fire control. The speed rating, we want to go like max. So we want to go 4 times speed. There we go. And the range. Let's bring that down. Do we have like a 0.4? Yeah. Just less than 20,000. Okay, that's going to be 40 tons as opposed to 20 tons. We could trade both of the fire controls out for one. Does give us no backup, so I'd rather not do that. We're going to have to find another 20 tons somewhere, but that's easy enough. Well, no, 40 tons. So we're going to add that on the end. And then put the 40 ton. And then range is also in K. And then that's BFC. We'll instant that out. We'll get rid of you. And then we'll do it again. Now we need to shave 48 tons, give or take. So, what can we shave? We could shave like a tiny bit of the maintenance life. Not ideal. We could shave a tiny bit of the range. Again, also not ideal, especially when, you know, what have we got? Get rid of a 50, but that drops us... Ooh, it drops us perfectly to 30 billion, which is what I was hoping for. That's acceptable. We could just chuck in the extra 7 tons. I'm going to do that just to make this kind of like nice. So we'll grab a tiny and then a fighter and another fighter. 30,000 tons. Lovely. Actually, out of interest, how much does our... You would bang on the speed as well. Nice. Great. Means they're exactly the same speed because they're exactly the same weight per engine. Not exactly the same weight, but weight. So you know what I mean. Anyway. So that is good. And that should function quite nicely. We're actually going to lock the design. Now, shipyard tasks. We are refitting to the Hardy 2. So when they come out, they should have the new fire control. Everything should be okay. Lovely. So that's that one dealt with. Now, the other thing we need to deal with is this. This is a mess. It's not too bad, actually, right now, because it kind of all fits when I don't expand it. But, yeah. When I expand some of these, it does get a bit too much. Now, one of the things you can do is by clicking up here, which is on your kind of like your over command, the United Earth Navy, which is commanded by an admiral, you'll see that we can do stuff here and we can create extra admins and there are systems within range and you can do sector stuff. It's complicated, and I know this is going to be a controversial opinion, especially in the Aurora community, but I don't really care for the sector mechanics because your sector mechanics mean that when ships that are attached to a sector leave the sector, they don't get the bonuses from the sector. So it only really works if your ships are staying in a sector permanently, and then that sort of can be a lot of micro. So I don't care. And I know that people are going to be like, well, you should, because it's a mechanic, and I'm honestly going to put the same thing I do about, wire instant components. And I'm like, that's just way too much intricacy for what I intend. And also, you don't need that extra couple of percent generally in this game. The AI can be very dumb. I literally had last night the AI send 120 colony ships into the solar system, like into my home solar system in an offline game. So I don't feel I need, 2% extra or whatever from a system command. So what we're going to do is we're just going to organize this using the mechanics that you would also use if you were going to try and get your sector buffs. If you want to look into how to apply them properly and how to do sector commands, you can look on the wiki or ask around. Hell, my Discord has an Aurora Talks chat that you can ask in. A lot of people who know a lot more than me about the game in there. But we're going to create a command here, and this one is going to be logistics. And you notice now we've got logistics down here. It's down here because it's empty. But if we then, say, grab these fuel harvesting stations, goes up to the top now because it's got something in it. Done. I'm actually going to start nesting this a lot more complicatedly. So we're going to have something like fuel, and then we can put you in here. And notice that each of these will now have, Knight Commander, all under this admiral. Depending on how much is in there and what they're doing, etc., they'll end up having these kind of nested hierarchy of command, which is kind of cool, but also way too much to really bother about doing anything manually. But it's cool. It's nice. It's fine. I'm going to start doing this for the rest of these, and I'm going to make it look pretty. This is something that I'm definitely not going to make you watch, because this is going to take a little while of my time, so enjoy. This is actually worth pointing out. This order here, refuel, resupply, and overhaul colony, seems great, but I believe it is currently bugged. It seems to cause an issue when they go to the colony, and it starts to do weird stuff, is the best way I can really describe it. Like, it seems to be like, I finished my overhaul, and it hasn't finished its overhaul. And you also tend to get, I think it's a weird bug pops up. Something like 730 and 722 errors just start popping up. So what we're going to do instead is, it's not the same, but we're going to tell you to refuel when your fuel is low, when your deployment's exceeded, we want you to overhaul. It's still going to cause issues if you run out of MSP or something, but for now it will have to do. So just a heads up, if you do run into that, I believe it is bug, you know, when it throws error 730 and 722. When you get rid of this order, for me and for a couple of other people I've mentioned this to, it does seem to make it disappear. So it does seem that that's bugged right now. There we go. Smaller. This shuttle, I don't know where to put this shuttle. Logistics, you know what, let's make a miscellaneous one. Okay, that's our new setup, and it looks a lot prettier. So what we have effectively is auxiliary, which consists of any ship that's meant to kind of help out in a military capacity, but is considered of civilian design. So we've got like the auxiliary carrier Ragland, also our troop transports. We've got battle fleet, which contains currently our actual capital ships. The defense fleet, which consists of... Oh, defenses. Sorry, not defense fleet. We've got defense fleet below defenses. Maybe I should rename them. Maybe there should be like static defenses. Maybe. Rename. There we go. Call you static defenses. There we go. And refresh. That one go down the bottom there. Let's got all our orbital weapon platforms. Also these fighters, which are, again, orbital weapon platforms that haven't been deployed. We have defense fleet, which has our fax. Oh god, let me never open that again. Diplomatic, which obviously is combat kitties. Habitats, which is going to be basically groups of habitats. We'll never really need to open that particularly much. It does have a tug in there at the moment because the tug is tugging one of them, but we'll be able to deal with that later. In fact, that tug probably can be pulled out because it'll dump it into that formation. So we'll put that tug in logistics for now. We'll make actually a tug area specifically for them. And we'll put the terraformer, the Lilstrom, which is carrying the terraformer in there. The problem is that the Lilstrom will just drop the terraformer, which means it'll stay in tug. I'll need to manually move it into terraforming. But we've also got cargo, which includes the cargo fleet that isn't done. I should probably remove the squids from here. Fleet. Squids. Detach. And we'll just rename you as TK Squid times 4, 1. And then you'll go into fuel, as you can see. This is all kind of nicely done. Miscellaneous has our weird mine layers. I guess maybe they should go in like auxiliary, actually. Yeah, they'll go in there. We've also got the Apollo's game, our shuttle, stabilization, tugs. Science has got Grav, Geo, and also our old exploration craft that needs to be ruined. Static defenses are orbital weapon platforms, and then we've got our civilian stuff down the bottom. So this is actually much more nicely laid out now, and it's going to make a lot more sense, hopefully. Also, it's going to use up a fair few commanders, but it may apply some bonuses or whatever. Okay. So that dealt with. One of the few things that we have as an issue, obviously, is fuel, and I think maybe making the extra fuel establishment might help with that. My only concern is that our geranium is really low, so I don't know if we can necessarily eat that right now, especially with our shipyards still building stuff. How far are we along? Well, we're pretty far along. Yeah. We also could do with producing some mines and probably, honestly, more terraformers. In fact, let's actually make a new type of terraformer because our current one is way too big. How close are we to getting that up to 300,000? A long way. Okay, yeah. Building a smaller terraformer is probably a good idea. The current one, even with a 300,000 tug, is going to be a pain to move. So we're going to make the terraforming station. There we go. Also, the stake. We're going to mark you as obsolete. We don't need you anymore. Greenfield. Now, is this going to be a Greenfield 2? No. It's really just going to be a smaller version of the Greenfield, but it's so small, I don't think it's going to be a Greenfield. I don't think you can be like, oh, this is the Greenfield 2. Look, it's a third the size and be, you know, the same class. So we're going to call this a new ship class. This is going to be the Wolfka. It's still a terraforming station, so that's nice. But we're going to get rid of that. We are going to get rid of... What else can we get rid of? Oh, we need to put no armor on there. And I think that's it. Yeah. All right. Okay. Thermal sensor. We'll chuck on a Diddy sensor. Admittedly, I think we've got better tech than that 5. Do we have a new thermal sensor? No, we're still at the 5. Okay. Well, on it goes. There we go. And one thing to bear in mind, by the way, is when I chuck this sensor on, notice that here it still says 0. Yeah, that means that sensor is doing nothing. It's actually rounding the 0.5 sensor units down, so doesn't really do anything. So we'll chuck on the bigger sensor. Again, the cost of this sensor is not going to matter. Like, take that off. Oh no, it costs 6 BP. That's nothing compared to the rest of the station. So we're going to get terraforming modules, and then we're going to start chucking them on and back to the 20. I'm thinking it's going to be about 80 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 million tons. Go for 60. It's much more palatable. But, you know, obviously we're losing a good quarter of the terraforming capacity by going down to 60. We are getting a bigger tug, so I think what we'll do is we'll bite the bullet when we go for the 80, and when we get the bigger tug, I don't know, I keep confusing the two. Yes, they go together a lot, but they're not the same thing. Duh. When I get the bigger tug, we should be okay. Now, obviously, this isn't going to be cheap. We're looking at 42,000 for the build cost. But the Wolfka should hopefully make short work. You know what? I'm actually going to call this a Greenfield too. It's just so similar. It feels mean to the Wolfka to use the name on what is effectively the Greenfield. You know what? Let's call it like the Greenfield Light or something. I went so overboard with the first one. I feel that maybe we should make a reference to it. It's going to be the Greenfield Light. Yeah. Okay. That's good. I don't think there's much we'll want to change here. Yeah. I don't think there's much we really could change. Nothing's going to have an effect on the terraforming, so we'll just lock you in. Cool. Okay. Earth industry. Let's just toggle up, down. Greenfield Light. It will cost 20,000 uranium. Ooh. How much does a terraforming installation cost? I mean, 300 each, and we're thinking about 80 of them. So at the end of the day, yeah, this is cheaper, and also easier to work with and doesn't use people. So I think we'll start rolling maybe 2 out, but we're going to limit the percentage we're working on them. So we'll put them into the bottom now. But the Finley shards, I want another one of those. Not the Finley shards, sorry. What am I talking about? Cancel. The tie. We are almost finished on research facilities. I think we can slow that down a little bit then. Crank you all the way down to 30, and we can get these in. Up Q. Up Q. I'm just wondering if there's anything we could do now. I think we can queue up behind the deep space tracking station. So let's queue up mine. Let's queue up 400 mines. And that should be the next up. Now, the good thing about them is they only take corundium, so we're not going to be worrying about using up our geranium supply, although we will worry about our corundium supply because that's getting pretty low. It tends to be corundium or geranium you have issues with, or, you know, both. Probably both for us. I wouldn't worry about saurium. You get it from the gas giant, immediately turn it into fuel. I don't really care about the saurium, but these two, yeah, we're going to have issues with. Corundium is the problem, though, because if you run out of that, you can't make new mines to get more corundium. Duranium, yeah, you just make more mines, which uses a different resource entirely, but mines use corundium, so we're going to need to make sure we don't bottom out on that, which we probably will for a little bit, but it's more about making sure we don't bottom out too much. Right. With that said and done, that's kind of all the little fixes I wanted to put in place. One thing that might be worth doing is just checking in and looking for which one of our planets has like a really good source of corundium. Titan is kind of everything right now. And, you know, Titan's obviously going to be a kind of pain to actually do anything with. We do have 4 livable, because I think it's the Moon, Mars, Earth, obviously. And which was the other one we managed to make livable? It was... oh, Europa's not quite there. It's classifying Europa and Io, despite the fact they're not quite done. Oh, no, we didn't do Mars. Yeah. We should probably do Mars at some stage, if only just because it's good living room. And honestly, it's not that hard to terraform Mars. Let's check the terraforming rate on Mars. So if we pop over here... Terraform versus Earth, 3.25. 3.52. Yeah, okay. We're probably better off doing the moons. Although, admittedly, Mars doesn't have a huge temperature difference to do. Only probably need to change that by about 50. Whereas, obviously, the moon's here, 150. But the increased rate is very much appreciated. Titan, you're only getting a 6. Obviously, Europa, 16. Io, 12. How far are you away, Io, from dumping all that water? It's going to take you a little time. Europa is basically there within months. Titan, we need to convert Titan. We need that corundium to prevent ourselves bottoming out in terms of our mining endeavors. So corundium is definitely going to be the issue here. I believe our tug is en route for that. Yeah, moving to Titan and releasing the ship. Then head back to Earth. Because then we can do the whole overhaul, put a tap on you, drain you of fuel, have fuel, do other things. Great. Now, let's have a quick look over our research. There are a few things I want to adjust here. Firstly, I would very much like to get heavy armor for our troops. Oh, that's the wrong one. Up Q. We're going to up Q that. And then here's the thing. I don't think we want to get the drop bay first. We want to get the heavy armor first, because we make the troops and then we put the troops in the drop bay. So we want the troops first, not the drop bay. We need the troops to be able to drop them from orbit. Make sense? Okay, good. So we're actually going to cancel that project. There's no way to, like... We can pause the project. But there's no way to, like, cancel it and then put that one in. Yeah. So we're going to have to cancel you, which cancels all of them. And then we're going to go to ground combat. Oh, I guess you were nearly done on it. That's fine. I didn't need to adjust that then. But we'll get the heavy powered armor. It's only 4,000, so it's not going to take too long. We'll add that to queue. And then... heavy bombardment. Here's the issue. Bombardment weapons can really damage a lot of stuff on a planet. So if you want to, like, kill enemies and take their cities, or kill enemies and take their ruins, you don't really want to be using bombardment weapons, because you do destroy a lot of what you're trying to capture. That said, they also are very, you know, in character. Like, they're a thing. They're a thing an army uses, and it feels weird to leave them out. They also aren't amazing, so... whether to have them in or not is kind of like a, do I feel that we could spend that 6,000 research better? Well, yeah. We'll go for the heavy crew-served anti-personnel first. And then I think we'll get it. We'll have to. And then we'll get boarding bay and boarding combat capability. Because wouldn't it be fun to be able to take some enemy ships that are higher tech than ours if we end up at war? You know? Land on them, breach in, murder everyone on board, take the ship, bring it home, disassemble it, copy the tech, make better stuff. just seems, you know, like a good idea to me. So that's all done. The mining is definitely like top of my priority list right now. We are getting quite close to finishing the mining off. Then fuel production, which only applies to turning thorium into stuff. Yeah, it just means we do it faster. Honestly, it's a tech you can completely forget about, but I think we'll get it, if only just for the RP reasons. And then shipyard operations, cost and time saving. Again, save us on geranium. Shipbuilding rate, maximal orbital diameter, sure. Mostly because it's just cheap. Everything else is pretty nice. We do have fuel consumption 0.6 being researched after the capacitor recharge rate, so that'll be something to look forward to. As for everything else, I think we're good. The only thing I want to query is our colony fleet. They aren't doing anything currently, and we do need more geranium, so who would be best to go to? Io's better for accessibility. Europa is closer to being just human habitable. So, population supported by infrastructure. Oh god, you can support like billions. Okay. And available work is 0. Well, yeah, we'll work on that. I think what we do is... I've just noticed something. We have, I believe, 1 mass driver here. Or 2. We have 2 mass drivers here. Here's the thing. Mass drivers can only move a certain amount of minerals per year. I can't remember what the number is off the top of my head, but generally it's not an issue for 100 mines-ish. It depends, you know, how many different minerals you're moving. Because, you know, 100 mines is going to not mine 100 minerals or whatever. It will get 100 of each mineral. So you can actually get a lot more with a mine by having multiple different types of minerals. Because we've got so many minerals coming out of the ground here, we're actually starting to get a stockpile. We need to put more mass drivers here. Are we currently telling our civilian economy to do anything? I know I've said that they're terrible beforehand, but no. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to... Well, actually work on infrastructure. Yeah, we'll manually do this because I don't want this to cock up. How many mass drivers do you have? 1, 2, 1... 1. Yeah, the rate we want to drain these of their minerals, we're going to need far more mass drivers on board. Yeah, I'm thinking about 5 mass drivers for each. So, what we can do... I don't think we've actually done this as an order before. So this is going to be another learning lesson. Go find ourselves a fleet. 10 Jagnavs. Cool. Go to Earth. Load installation. Mass driver. So they'll load 10 because they've got 10 and each one can fit 1. Sorted. We're going to go to Europa, Io, Titan, and we're going to drop off 3 on each, and we'll drop off 4 on Io since Europa already has 2. So we'll unload mass driver, and then we'll say unload 4. There. And then Europa, unload mass driver 3. And then Titan, unload and unload all. There we go. Because it'll unload the remaining 3. And then come back to Earth and refuel. So that should help get rid of the stockpiles, which will give us a load more geranium pretty quickly. And then we also want to move people over there. So we're going to grab the colony fleet, Earth, load colonists, and then go to Europa, unload colonists. And we've got enough fuel that we don't need to refuel immediately afterwards. So for expediency's sake, let's do this 19 times. That'll be 20 million we dump there. Might be a little bit much, but yes, it's gonna cause issues. I know people out there are like, hey, don't you already have a problem? You don't have enough workers on Earth. Yes, but also the growth rate on Earth is low compared to everywhere else, and we're gonna move a lot of mines, so it needs to be done. It might cause short-term problems. You should have enough fuel to do this, and then we'll go to Earth and then refuel from colony. It will take, 150 days if it didn't count the loading time. So probably going to take, a year. But that will give us a whole load of stuff on Europa. Do we want to move mines over there at the same amount of time? One full load of mines is 500,000 people. Yes, let's do it. Actually, we don't have enough Jagnaths, so we are producing more, but not enough yet. Okay. Righto. In which case... actually, one last thing. Shipyard. Tasks. We need someone to take apart. Oh, there we go. It's just too big for that one. Okay, we're going to get a tiny amount of resources back, but I guess more importantly, we'll also get like the actual sensors on board, which we can put onto craft later on. Those are pretty expensive in terms of build cost. Okay. So, with that done, let's advance time. I know this was, 40 minutes into the episode and we're advancing time. A lot of stuff to catch up on, a lot of tweaking to be done. By the way, there will be I think it'll be linked down below, but I basically did like a State of the United Earth video, which is kind of like I don't know how long it is actually. Kind of like I think it's like 15 minutes of just talking about where we are in terms of like what the state of the game is, what our craft are, where we're at with everything. Just because I know that it's quite in depth and there's a lot of stuff to go over, especially with, 23, now 24 episodes, each one almost an hour long. Like, if you want to just catch up through that, you've missed something or you've forgotten what's going on, you can do so. I'll be linked down below. Also, massive shout out to Fireflash from the Discord, who actually made like a little utility script that is able to pull data out of the database from the save file for the game, and then like list, say, all the important people, all the components, and you can see which houses are building what, etc. What the populations are for each planet. I think that'll be linked in the description for that video, so you can go check that out. Also, just go on the Discord. I'd recommend it. Oh, hello. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? A deposit of almost 5 million tons of dranium on Moon 12. That was the moon that I was wondering about earlier. Like, hey, what's the purpose on this moon? There's nothing there. Moon 12. Holy cow. There's 0.8 availability as well. Like, we have better, but that's suddenly very, very good. Okay, that's pretty nice. Survey sites. Are they updating yet? We did have an issue with them not updating. It looks like they have. I don't know why they didn't before, but they have now. One thing we can also do is we can go over here, go to display, and then I believe there is mineral search flagged. No? What is it? Ground survey locations, that's the one. Yeah, and you can see that highlighted that have ground surveys available. Obviously, there's one in Hoyle, there's one in Subject Delta, like there's stuff we can do here. Right. Anyway, since you've done that, do we want to highlight that new mineral deposit? Question is, does a normal geo survey flag them the same way? I'm going to change the text color for now, and we'll change that to like a lightish brown. A lightish brown's red. An orange. Fine, it stands out. Okay. Well, we need to move you. So, Geo Survey Company, you're done on Moon 12. Where was the other moon in Subject Delta that we can move you to? Here. It is a Venusian world, so it would require a lot of setup, but it's, possible. Again, if you're wondering, by the way, how to tell, it's the number next to the M. Or hell, you don't even need an M. You can be like, I don't find anything on the planet, but there could be a geosurvey. Anyway, the number is like 1 to 4. 4 being amazing. Is there a 5? I don't know. 1 being, there's a small chance you'll get better stuff. And you can toggle it on and off with this. Also, as well toggle OM available on. We're going to take him over to here now. So let us Find our... What will they be under? Auxiliary? No, because this is... Oh, they are under auxiliary army. Yeah, because they're technically army. You're an agent. You're in subject delta. There we go. Right, load ground unit. And then delta A1. Unload all ground units. Easy enough. Yeah, all of you complaining you run out of fuel. Well, that's understandable because you never had fuel to begin with. Okay, carry on. Right, the G2 sanctioned parts list is now complaining. We're in the nuke system. And there are jump points there, so I guess it's now time to have some fun with that. I'm actually going to move you down to here because this is going to get very busy very quickly. How about there? Okay. They are jump gated, so this could get weird. Go for the first one. You complete your orders. Sure. Okay, and then you've done your drop off the mass driver stuff. You're complaining about fuel again. Alistair's completed orders. And we found the system of Kenneth, which has some vaguely habitable-ish planets. A lot of moons. Okay. Have a little bit of a shufty around there. And meanwhile... Orbiting Earth, right, we need to give you overhaul. Also, where the hell did you drop... Oh, obviously, yeah, you dropped it into the habitation section. Habitation would be under H for habitats. There we go. Okay. I was going to do it to the Lilstrom, but I guess we could do it to you. Give you an overhaul. Shipyard. Refit the Alistair to the Alistair. That wouldn't really do very much. Alistair 2. Really, really quick. In fact, so quick it'll be done in a week. So we'll do that now. It's also really beneficial putting the tap on the tug because it makes it a really good tanker. Like, it's incredibly fast. It goes faster than our military vessels, so... Okay, we've discovered Barathor. 13 or 14 billion kilometers out. There are a couple of habitable-ish ones, including this one, which has an ice sheet, so that's quite nice. We completed drop bays. Awesome. Working on heavy infantry armor. The other stairs refitted. Maybe we should color ship refit. Make that stand out. Probably just with like a little bit of a blue or something. Okay, and we'll probably want research started to be a tiny bit of a blue. There we go. Now, the question is, go to Earth, transfer fuel to colony. This might take a while. There's a lot of fuel to pump out of there. Just saying, it's not quick. I believe we're on, what, 60,000 liters per hour, and you need to transfer 25 million? Like, feel free to do the math, but that's many days of time, so we're going to just go forwards. Okay. Ben von Krau was killed in an accident. Production leader trace. Tracking station is completed. Production of mine has begun. We should also probably flag production started with a color. So there we go. Maybe slightly different color. There we go. Ship scrapped. Yeah. Okay. And the profit margin has detected a jump point in Nedmond. I don't know if I want to go further in Nedmond at the moment. Just because we are getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps away, which is a little more than we initially bargained on. That said, we do want to look for the ghost, so maybe we do. For now, we'll just hold out a little bit longer. At least until you finish that actual system itself. Right. We built a load of Vashes. Everything's going swimmingly. Our battle fleet is now up to 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Yeah, we're waiting on 2 more. 1 there. Got this right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Yeah, we need 1 more. Ugh. The Wolf of Fenris. Yeah, use components. Not that that's really going to matter. Meanwhile, everything else looks pretty decent. Just wondering, is there anything else we really want to do right now? How's the mining going? Okay. Production of mine has begun. That's going to dive our corundium stockpile. We've got to be a bit cautious there. How are we doing with getting to location for the Lilstrom? I'll remove the last order. There we go. 90 days. Okay. Now, important question. How are we doing on fuel? 12 million. God damn it. And the Alistair's only halfway done. It's been, what, 10 days and you're only halfway done. Yep. That's the issue of fuel. Okay. So we've got 12 million fuel. The new military ships did eat a lot of it, so we did offload a load. Yeah. Again, we're going to have to just try our best to keep working on the fuel issue. That won't be solved soon, but hopefully it'll be solved within next, I'm thinking 4 years, you know, when we'll get this one out. Okay, carry on. Ooh. Additional deposits of uranium were discovered on subject Delta A1. It's gone from 500,000 to 8 million. Holy cow. Also, the accessibility's gone from 0.6 to 0.9. And also we found 16 million tons of corundium. Holy cow. We're going to have a look at this. I need to see this with my eyes. Damn. The corundium is accessibility 0.1, admittedly, but the duranium alone, like, that is absolutely beautiful. Compare that to currently where we have a load of orbital habitats in Calica. Like, the Calica ones are mostly here for the fact that there's, you know, a bit of everything. I think we might just want to start working on Subject Delta. It's also pretty close. Like, going to Subject Delta is easy enough. More orbital habitats will be expensive, though. Now, bear in mind, orbital habitats, if you get them to work in mines, is only going to really pay off when you have a lot of mines. Otherwise, you can just use automated mines. Automated mines, obviously, are double the cost of a mine. So there's a break-even point to look for there. For right now, I'm worried about the corundium issue, and I want to save on that, so I think using the mines is probably a good idea. When we are done with the research facilities, which won't be all that long, we're going to go for space station and the Finley shards. And we're going to want to build like 10 of them. They aren't too expensive. Like, you know, we're looking at 360 geranium. Potassium is the main cost of space stations. And then we'll obviously send them over there, and then they can place themselves down, and we can dump people, and we can do their thing. A bit more of a long-term plan, though, obviously, because everything to fix the current stopgap is pretty much going to come out of Sol. It's not going to be only Sol, but it's mostly, if not the vast majority of our mining situation at the moment has to be solved in Sol, just because it's a short supply chain. Right, I guess where do you go next? Let's put, where is it? Survey locations, ground survey locations. There is somewhere in Subject Delta to do a ground survey. Where? Where? No, there isn't. There we go. It's gone. Okay, Cryo is next door. So Zanmar, Distant Roman, Chaos Chest, all possibilities. I think Ice Lord is probably the one to go for here, because we do have an interest there already. I often feel like I want to go like, where is Ice Lord in the list? And I don't say it, or I try and hold back at least, because I know people are going to be like, it's alphabetical, you dolt. It's under I. And I'll be like, yeah, I know that. I'm just slow, okay? Yeah, this would have to be a good survey to really gain much. It is only 1, which is the lowest chance of having anything interesting come out of it. But we are also next door. Let's look. What's the Zanmar? Oh, we've got a 2 on a terrestrial world that we're already interested in. Yeah, okay. We'll go to Zanmar. I think we're also going to rename the transport, or at least give the transport like a better name. So we are going to pick up ground unit, the 9th Geo, and I'm going to rename you to Honka 9th Geo. You know what? We actually use Gecko. So Gecko 9th. Makes it a little bit easier to remember. And then we're going to go to Zanmar, and we are going to go and land on, I should have probably checked who it was again, 3. There we go. Not too long at all. Also, while you're here, Agent. Still doing the survey. Okay. Rename you. You are the Gecko 8th. That's not how you spell Gecko. You've completed orders. You finally dumped a load of fuel. We're up to 22 million. I'm not going to dump the other fuel, you know, tug, so we're going to have to just make fuel. It's going to take time. What is the state of our fuelers? 6.7. You weren't making the journey for 2 months. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's going to be slow going. One thing I really should do, we keep getting this inactive research lab warning. I think we'll actually color it, because this is, you know, bad. So, text color, and we're going to put down like a... Is it going to stand out enough? Ugh, God, no, that's just invisible. Sure, whatever. I think we're using that color for something else, but it doesn't actually matter too much. We're going to go over to research. And who needs buffs? I mean, honestly, anyone. We'll go for you, because you has a ground troop stuff I would like to have done so we could work on our ground units. And capacitor research rate. Yes, that'd be nice as well. Okay. Oil, how are you doing? Yeah, we need to up this. Currently, you have how much infrastructure? 650 can support 3.3 million. We definitely want to at least triple that. I'm actually going to get the civilian economy to chip in here. So I'm going to edit the demand. Yeah, actually, the demand is already fine. It's just actually getting them to do it. Currently, they've only got 5 people assigned to the order. Okay, well, hopefully the civilian economy can kind of grow a little bit more. I mean, I'm spending enough money on them. It's just, you know, get on with it. Okay, we've refitted the Hardy 2s. We've completed active grav sensor strength 21. You know what that means? It means we're probably going to be updating the Hardys again, this time with the new sensors. And we've begun research into fire control speed rating 5000. That's great. That means we can hit missiles much more frequently. It also means we're auto-refitting the Hardys again right now. Sweet. Well, I think this is probably a good place to end this episode. A lot of just catching things up, working towards new goals and objectives. Very nice change to Subject Delta, finding out about the Venusian world being, you know, much better than we thought it was. Although, again, being on the front line, having orbital habitats, kind of dangerous. It's a risk, but considering that everything's so quiet, I'm going to jinx myself. It's a risk I'm going to take. Yeah, we do need to worry about Subject Delta more. I'm concerned. If things do go south with the Jazza, then, I mean, we've already seen the number of wrecks. The AI could have untold thousands of ships and we wouldn't know. I'm just, like, looking at this map. We know so little about what's going on. And it's very hard to find out anything. Like, if we push into their systems, they'll get angry and then probably will find out because they'll declare war on us. So, now we're being a bit softly. I would like to take the fleet out to Davit and Unique Fossil. We do need fuel for that, though. And I don't feel confident right now about our fuel reserves. Get me to 50 million on the fuel. And then we'll take a little jaunt over to Davit. And then Unique Fossil. And then we'll try and take Vastran back. I want whatever's in Vastran. But now, though, I've been EnterElysium. Get involved with all the stuff over on the Discord. You'll also find all the interaction there, the voting, the Parliament stuff, the freeform RP, all kinds of stuff, and you can influence the game there. It's possible there's going to be some major influence coming up. So this game is very much like, for now, I've been taking a little bit of direction, but I also will be adding and taking away stuff based on some of the bigger RP events. So bear that in mind. Things might be happening down the road. But yeah, you'll also find an announcement channel there, which will list all my videos and my streams when they happen. Much better than trying to like watch YouTube's subscribe feed, which, by the way, you can subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to. But also you get my, you know, streams and so on in the notifications on that Discord channel. In addition, you know, there's Twitter, Instagram, all the standard stuff. But if you want to like the video and comment down below, that really does help with the algorithm. I've been EnterElysium. Until next time, stay shiny.